Hi, and welcome to Across the Desk. This week, I'm going to discuss our governor-appointed Attorney General and some of the things he's been saying and some of the things he's been doing that really make me question his ability to handle the Attorney General's office and, quite frankly, just an election campaign. And right here, starting off, I want to say, talking about our Attorney General, that I saw him in an interview he gave last week, and it kind of gave me some pause. Because the question was, how much money do you think you're going to need in your campaign coming up for the election next year for Attorney General? And he just kind of gave an answer that was like almost a deer in the headlights look, like an election? Kind of. And I was like, whoa. And then the answer was, yeah, how much money do you think you're going to need for that? And his answer was, well, I don't know. And it was just kind of nonchalant like that. I don't know. Kind of like he wasn't even, it wasn't a thought in his head. And it still wasn't. It wasn't something that was important to him. So it got me to thinking. At first I was like, oh wow, this guy doesn't have a campaign together. And he may not. He may not have one. And it didn't sound like he did. It doesn't sound like he knew anything about campaigning at all. Or that he was, I gotta run. I mean, the governor appointed me. I figured I would just be here till he was gone. And see, that told me something right there. At first I was like, oh wow, this guy doesn't have a campaign together. He's so behind the eight ball. He doesn't have any planning. He has nothing in place for a campaign. Because if he did, he'd know how much money he was going to need to raise. Well, he doesn't even have that. Here we are a year out. So first I was like thinking, well, he was Stitt's little errand boy and still is his little puppet. So maybe he's thinking Stitt would save him somehow. Hey man, I ain't going to think about that. So I'll get Stitt to help me with this. And then the more I got to thinking about it, the more I realized, no. The Stitt campaign is his campaign. That's what I'm thinking from looking at all this. It's kind of like, well, I'm the Attorney General. Why would I have to worry about campaigning? Because, the governor's taking care of all of that. And I'm pretty sure knowing Kevin Stitt and how he likes to have absolute control of things, I'm pretty sure he does. I'm pretty sure when it comes to the Attorney General's election campaign, Governor Stitt is the one in control of it. He's the one controlling the campaign. He's the one who's probably has all the money, and he's the one making all the plans. So what does our Attorney General O'Connor have to worry about? Because, after all, Stitt's taking care of that for him. And I'm pretty sure that's what he feels. I'm going to be riding on the Stitt ticket. When you come to think of it, in Oklahoma, we don't run on tickets with other politicians. Even our lieutenant governors run on their own. It's very possible and plausible, as we had with Brad Henry and Fallon, a Democrat governor and a Republican lieutenant governor. So that's very possible. And that's how it is. We don't run together on tickets. But it's very shocking to find out that the Attorney General of the state of Oklahoma is definitely running on the same ticket as Kevin Stitt. He definitely is. He's going to use the same campaign people. He's going to use the same money and everything else. And he's going to ride on Stitt's coattails to get reelected. That's what he's hoping for. Because at first, when they brought the question to him, he was like, I got to run again? Ah, man, governor appoints me. Kind of like, Stitt's the emperor here, man. He's the king. That's what we got going on. Republic, democracy? What's that? And it was kind of the answer he gave, which was very wow, telling. It was. At first, yeah, I thought, oh man, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't have a campaign. He's so far behind the eight ball that, wow, if there's a seat a Democrat could run against, this would be the one. This would be it. A smart, talented Democrat that could take over the AG's office and know what the AG's office does. Because one thing that the AG does right now with O'Connor is he's the governor's personal attorney. That's exactly what he is. He's the governor's personal attorney. He's not the state's attorney like what the Attorney General is supposed to be in Oklahoma. Nah, he does the governor's bidding. And that's what he does. That's what we see with him going after schools. suing schools that put in mask mandates. And it's saying, well, we're trying to protect the children. Really? You're not protecting children if you're going against parents in a district who want their kids to wear masks. And you know, it's actually a pretty popular thing. Better than 70% of Oklahomans even think that their children should wear masks when they go to school. And it's very small, vocal, crazy sentiment of people that are really being crazy about all this. You look at the polls after poll. So him doing this, going after schools the way he is, I'm going to sue these schools. It's gross for one thing. But the other thing is, it tells you he's beholden to the governor for his spot as the attorney general, and he's doing his bidding. It's the other reason why he's going after the native tribes again. Because, you know, Stitt lost. He's a sore loser. He just doesn't know when to give up or quit when he's way behind. And he wants to, you know, try to get some payback, but it always just bites him in the butt. So, hey, man, he's got his little, you know, errand boy over here with the attorney general being able to do his bidding by, you know, suing the tribes again, suing schools, you know, going after unemployment insurance or whatever else. And it's a very telling thing was the other thing that he said that tells you he's the errand boy for the governor. Was they asked him when, hey man, look, people are saying you're just a yes man for the governor. Can you tell us that about that? What do you think about being a yes man for the governor? And his answer was, I'm not a yes man. I'll tell you right now, I'm my own man. I don't kiss anybody's ring. I follow the law and everything else. And they asked, okay, well, where can you point out where you have disagreed with the governor? He goes, well, you know, I can't point out where I have disagreed with him. Not yet. But I'm sure it will happen. And that's what he said. I'm sure it'll happen. I'm sure I'll disagree with him somewhere. You know what? I'm pretty sure if he disagrees with him somewhere, the governor will hang something over his head, and holy moly, lo and behold, the A.G. O'Connor, he won't be in disagreement with him anymore. I'll put $20 on it. I will. I will put $20 that when it comes to A.G. O'Connor and his campaign for re-election, he doesn't have one. He's relied on Stitt's campaign to win it for him. And that's where we're at with our Attorney General, O'Connor, right over here, suing schools, bumbling around, and answering weird questions about if he has a campaign or not. How much money is he going to need to run? And I'm serious. Democrat needs to take that office. That should be low-hanging fruit right there. Somebody could easily go against the campaign against this guy. He doesn't have one. The other thing is that I saw with O'Connor was just how he's going after folks in the legal realm. And he doesn't even know what he's doing. He's not even qualified to be there. He wasn't qualified to be a judge. He's really not qualified to be the Attorney General. And he really is just the yes man for Governor Stitt. That's all he's really doing. And you can always tell this. You can see it. And he really needs to go because he's not really doing the work of the people of Oklahoma. We really need to vote him out because he really doesn't belong there. All he's doing is Stitt's bidding. When Stitt has a tantrum, the AG is there to hand him the towel and tell him how okay it'll be. I'll take care of these people for you. Because that's really where we're at with the Attorney General's office right now. It's a shell of what it used to be. Going, you know, on behalf of the citizens of Oklahoma instead of just one citizen of Oklahoma who happens to hold the governor's office. And that's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing with A.G. O'Connor. The guy is not really all that bright. When you look at him giving these interviews and answering the questions he's answering, coming out, suing schools, and coming out saying, you know, oh, hey, you know, these board members on these schools, they're really good people, and they're trying to do the best jobs they can, and they're trying to protect their people, and we understand that, but they're not following the law. So if they're not going to follow the law, I'm going to sue them on it. That's baloney, because I'll guarantee you when it comes to laws that they don't want to enforce, when I mean by they, I mean the governor or other Republicans in concert, when they come up against laws they don't want to enforce, guess what? They're not going to enforce them. And he's not going to go after anybody who would seem to break those laws. Because that's the way conservatives are. They're not willing to take what they want to dish. They never have, and I don't expect them to ever do that. So that's what we have right here, the Attorney General O'Connor, the yes man for Kevin Stitt, going after mask mandates, vaccine mandates, going after unemployment insurance, and anybody who dares to oppose Kevin Stitt and his governorship. Because Kevin Stitt, he's fairly a tyrant. He doesn't really believe in all this democracy, Republican crap. He doesn't do it. He would rather just have the outright authority, get his people all in those places, and then get whatever he can over them so he can do his will within Oklahoma. And you see it. I mean, the guy's getting sued right and left, and they're saying, you don't have the right to take away the $300 from people on unemployment insurance. Didn't have the right to do it. Now he's put Oklahoma in a bind because of it. He didn't really have a lot of the things he's doing. We're really concerned here with him just willy-nilly replacing people on boards because, they didn't give him what he wanted. But this is Conservative 101. When they don't get what they want, it's always somebody else's fault. It's always corruption somewhere because I didn't get what I want. I'm the perfect one. I mean, all you got to look at Prater to see that. I mean, he's so willing and wanting to get rid of people on the Pardon Parole Board because they disagreed with him. They disagreed with him. So now he wants an investigation and a grand jury to come in and investigate the Pardon Parole Board because he thinks there's some kind of political corruption going on if they don't agree with him and come up with a conclusion he wants. So there you go. Prater crying just like Stitt does, and just like the AG's willing to pat his back and giving him a pinky and, make him feel a little more secure. I'll go after these people for you, sir. And that's where we are with Attorney General O'Connor, the yes man, the puppet boy for Governor Kevin Stitt. Well, I really hope somebody runs against this guy. And I really hope they win because, wow, this guy is really an idiot. He's not very bright. I mean, he doesn't have a campaign. No campaign that I can see. He doesn't even know what one is. He wouldn't know how to run one if he had one. And because it's obvious. He doesn't know how much money he needs. Wow, no planning. Nothing. He's got nothing there. Riding on the coattails of the governor, hoping that that's going to get him elected. And I'm almost positive Stitt's put him in that position. Stitt wants to be in control of his campaign. And that's where we're at with the Attorney General's office in Oklahoma and our Attorney General O'Connor right here and across the desk. We'll see you next week.